This is the first in a series of what we're going to call KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. We get asked this time of the year by a lot of new members and people that are sort of new to fishing what sort of rigs they should be using and what sort of fish they should be targeting. So I'm going to show you a couple of rigs now that I've used, and they've caught literally thousands and thousands of fish. There's nothing complicated about them. There's no added extras. There's no metal work on the rigs. They're just nice, simple fish catching rigs. The first one's going to be a Paternoster with a feeder attachment to it. Really good for bream. Really good for bream. And the second one is the lift float method, which is basically a variation on the Paternoster. So without further ado, I'll show you. Right, first things first, before I show you the actual rigs that we're going to do, I'm going to show you a couple of knots. Now these knots are sort of pretty essential for all sorts of fishing. Now the first one's the Palomar Knot. Now this is absolutely, bar none, the strongest hook to nylon knot you can do. So first things first, we through the eye, double it over, go back through the eye in the opposite direction. So now your hook is on that doubled over piece of line like that. Right, now simple overhand knot. So now your hook is in the middle of that loop. Now all you do is simply pass your hook through the loop you created. So now, if you can see, the hook's attached to the middle of the knot, and then you've passed the hook through the loop. And it's just a case of just pulling it down nice and gentle and then securing it. Now that there is a Palomar knot, and it is without question the best hook to nylon knot you can do. So you've got an overhand loop with your hook in the middle of the knot, and you literally pass the loop you've created over your hook like so, and just pull her down. Right, now the second knot that's important for this rig and lots of other rigs that you'll do is what they call the surgeon's loop. Now there's two ways of doing the surgeon's loop. The first one is just fairly simply double your line over, overhand knot, pull it up. Now that's fine if you're using it for something that's pretty lightweight. It's fairly strong, it's just I personally don't like the way it sits. So the way I will do it is double it over in exactly the same way, form a loop in between your finger and thumb, take this loop, just give it a twist. So you've just twisted it round, then you pass it through and then pull him up. Now if you see, that's done now a figure of 8. So when you pull that tight, that loop will now sit straight. There you go. As opposed to it kicking off to one side. Now that again is just super strong. So if you're doing any sort of loop to loop connections, anything like that, that's the one to use. Right, first up, the Paternoster. Now, the Paternoster is a rig that you'd use for feeder fishing or bomb fishing even. So you want to be using this with a quiver rod, something about medium, particularly sort of tench and bream. You want to be using sort of a medium weight feeder rod, nothing too heavy. Right, first off, we'll use this as our hook link. It's a bit thick, but you wouldn't see it if I use it in the breaking strain. So you want about 2 foot, so we'll go for about 2 foot of hook link. So that's our hook link. Now we're going to imagine this is our reel line. Right, so you want about 10 inches, foot or so of line from the end of your reel line. Take your hook link, pinch it between your 2 fingers like so. So you've just doubled that up for about 10 inches, something like that. Up at the reel end, pinch it up, form yourself a loop, pinch it between your finger and thumb, and then literally just overhand again. Once, twice, 3 times. While you've still got it pinched in between this one, just give these 2 a little pull and just pull the knot down nice and tight. Give him a good pull. Right, now you'll have a short end and you'll have a medium end and then you'll have the long end. The long end is your hook link. That's where we're going to attach our feeder. That bit there, we're just going to trim off. Right, so that's the basics of a Paternoster. Now what we're going to do, we're going to double this over and we're just going to do just a simple single overhand surgeon's loop, just the once, because this isn't going to take any sort of pressure other than the weight of the feeder. So we're going to double that up. We've doubled that up. Now attach our feeder. Right, once you've threaded your line through your feed, through the swivel, or some feeders have swivels on, some just have a boom, doesn't really matter. So we've now got it on. Now just simply pass your feeder through that loop. So now we're just going to pull that up. So that will then sit in there. Now, if ever you want to just change your feeder, put a smaller one on, put a maggot feeder or anything like that, you just literally push the line up on itself, pull that loop, and then just push your feeder back through that loop. So it's dead easy. You haven't got having silly little clips or anything like that, anything that's going to tangle or just be a fiddle. It's the easiest way of doing it. Simple as that. Right, now we're going to quickly do our Palomar knot again. Now that is a Paternoster feeder rig. That there will catch you fish just about anywhere you want to go. Dead easy, easy to tie, and most important, it catches fish. Right, now on to the lift float method. Now again, this is an absolutely superb method, obviously for fairly close in, but you can use this up to about sort of 25 yards or so if your eyesight's any good anyway. There's a couple of things that I do that a lot of people don't do. There's a lot of not different ways of doing these, but there's one important thing for the way I do it, and that's silicone tube. Again, same sort of thing as earlier. You don't want all this furniture on your main line. The least you got on there, the better. So first off, Mainline Float. I'm hoping it's going to go through. Yeah, it will do, because it's thicker line. Right, place your line through the eye on your bottom of your float. Little piece of silicone tubing. Thread that on also. Right, now that there is just perfect for that. No shot, just a piece of silicone. You can adjust that all day long. You won't put any crimps, any weak points, anything like that. You can adjust it easily. Right, second thing, you take your hook link, and this is where the variation on the theme comes. So you've got your hook link, and we do just a very simple over our knot once, twice, 3 times, pull it all nice down, nice and tight. Just cut off the tag end, which is the bit that's pointing towards your reel. Now you're left with your hook link and that little tag there. Now this little tag there, you get yourself a couple of AAs or a swan shot or something along those lines. Just make sure it's heavier than what the float will take. So if the float will take 2 BB, then you're going to want 2 AA. Just pinch those on there, trim any access off. So that there is a nice simple sort of link ledgery sort of type weight arrangement. Now you've got your hook link. Now you can decide how long you want your hook link. I'd suggest probably about 8 inches, somewhere around about there, 8 to 10 inches. Trim him off. Find yourself a hook. And again, another Palomar knot. Again, the hooks on your doubled up, simple overhand. Hooks on the middle of the knot, your spare loop that you've created. Pass the hook through it. Pull it down nice and tight. Trim the end off. Now if I get your float and slide him down a little bit, then you can see the whole thing. There you go. Nice and simple lift float method. Nothing on the line that can weaken it. No furniture, no bits of silly metal. Nice and easy. If you want to adjust the depth, just slides up on the silicone. Well, I hope that helped you out a little bit. That's the first in our KISS series, Keep It Simple Stupid. If there's anything else you want to see specific stuff, just put something in the comments, and we'll see if we can come up with something for you.